Yeah.
Speeding.
More and more filmmakers coming to our set, and now we have Nick. Nick is, as you can see, by the way he sits, he's a filmmaker. And
Yeah, let me just really get in position then if you really want me.
so, Nick, how do you get to produce a big movie? What's there?
Well, it all starts with the idea. The idea is the most important part of any kind of art in general.
How do you measure those ideas? Which one is a big movie idea? Which one is a trashy movie that has like a couple of views?
Well, I mean, you gotta look at what's going on in today's world. That's what's really important. Like, you gotta find a message that you can find for yourself and that the audience will connect to at the same time.
Shakespeare is relevant today and tomorrow.
Well, Shakespeare
and
has messages that actually matter, yeah.
So either it's today world or future. How do you find the idea that lasts over when we're not here? It will still be shown.
Well, definitely, it comes from yourself.
Charlie Chaplin been 100 years ago, and I still watch his movies.
Yeah, of course.
Get my points.
It's all about making something that's thought provoking. That's the key. Too. It really matters to produce something that someone's gonna sit down, they're gonna watch it, and they're gonna think about it after. It's not just gonna be there. It's not just gonna be an emotion that they just throw out and then audience watches it and then they leave. No, they need to like walk away with it. So to make a big movie, you need to have a big idea that's gonna be thought provoking for an audience. That's gonna make them actually, do something. It's you get a lot of movies today that are a representation of like our media or our, even our government. And
what is your walk away today? Let's say you don't you came to my production. Travis introduced you to me and what I do, and you seen the space, you seen the studios, you seen how we work. What do you think? Thoughts and how do you feel? What do you feel when you go home? What are you gonna feel?
Well, you go to war. You go to war when you make projects like these. It's filled with conflicts. You're gonna butt heads with people. You're gonna find out that what you wanted originally isn't gonna happen, and you're gonna have to adapt right then and there on the spot. It's film Darwinism in a way. It really is. It's like you have to think on your feet, and you have no choice but to go down the path that you originally desired, but it's gonna be different. You're gonna see different things. When you make a project, you're gonna make shots that you didn't realize were gonna be in the original cut, or perhaps you had a shot and you can't do it on set. It's too difficult.
You're a young guy, but you're a filmmaker, so you have a crew.
Yeah.
How do you control everybody? It's supposed to be like an army, and the producer coming down, and there are so many creative folks, and the crew, and everybody have their own thoughts and ideas, and partners, and the investors, and the audience. How do you make it all?
Let me tell you, it's definitely one of the hardest things anyone can do, because you're working with photographers,
you please
DPs.
Them, you control them.
I mean, like, yeah, of course. You have to kind of contrast with them. You have to like I'll have idea A, my actor will have idea B, and we create idea C. My DP and I will have an idea I'll have an idea for my DP, and then he or she will be like, well, what about this? And I'll be like, well, that actually works better than what I thought before. So most of the time,
so you're accepting other.
You have to accept other ideas, but not necessarily make them actually process them. You're gonna create an idea with their idea. It's like it's a collaborative effort. It really is.
Okay. There was, like you said, there are so many conflicts in the movies, and you go to war.
Actors are very difficult. They're very difficult. You have to sit down with them, and if you are a nosy director like myself that needs to have everything done, in a certain way to where it will come out as a great project, and the actor keeps trying to give you something that you nor the crew nor anyone else that's working on the production wants, you have to sit down with them very calmly and look at them and be like, hey, I need you to do it this way for me. I want to pull this from you. This is what the scene is going to actually convey. But actors are very hard to work with, which is why I did acting for a very long period of time. So when I did end up directing, I could, you know, have their perspective in a way. But then again, everyone is different. Everyone has their own methods. And so you kind of need to like sit down with the person before you actually cast them, or whether that be an audition or just a reading. You gotta know how vulnerable they can make themselves, you know, and that's very important.
When you go to work, people cheat, people do different.
Oh yeah, cut
different
corners.
things.
Yeah.
But movie making business is mostly about honor. It's about novelty. It's about making something future. How those two things go together. There is industry where everybody's kind of stabbing everybody's in the back, like almost like music industry.
Yeah.
But on the other side, we're creating something beautiful and interesting.
Yeah, I think it's very important for filmmakers to remember that it's not about, you know, the money. It's really about
Why
your
money
own
is not
succession.
money is
Because
not important.
I mean, it is to fund it, but it's not important when it comes to making your right career choice. Like, I know who I need to surround myself with in order to, you know, expel my career in better places. I think
So-
it's very important.
So you look at this as the way of funding it, making an art, but not necessarily a commercial
Yeah,
venture.
no,
eventually.
I could never advertise something that won't actually give people a thought-provoking idea to do something. You know,
Mhm.
I can't do advertisements. That's not my thing.
Okay.
But I think every
So what's the
filmmaker
ethics versus moral?
has, yeah, they all have different ethics. But if you originally go by what, you know, Charlie Chaplin, as you mentioned earlier, did, was he wanted to make people laugh. That was his goal, and he had his own vision, and that vision that he used made people laugh. And it's very
But
important
he
to
did
not
what's
lose it.
interesting for him, and
Yeah.
he makes lots of money.
Yeah.
He was commercially very successful. So
Well, I mean, he
far
was
as
commercially
money-wise,
successful,
He's making
but-
money even now. He's not here, but his family is well taken
He
care
had so many people breathing down his neck. He ended up getting kicked out of America for, you know, being accused of being a communist, and that's because he had his own vision. He had his own ideas, and he used those ideas, and you know, people gave him slack for it. But
Yep.
guess what? He didn't care. He kept doing his thing in Europe. He never went back to the U.S. And then after he passed away, he won an honorary Oscar for it. So,
Yep.
I mean, I think
That's
that
right.
says it enough. You know, if you're an artist, you'll always find a way to create. You'll never not be creating if you're a real artist.
Okay. May I ask what's your Instagram?
I'm the Wild Kennedy.
Okay. The Wild.
The
Cat.
Wild Kennedy. Yeah,
Okay.
you can follow me on Instagram.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to hire that filmmaker for you, or would like to be an actor in his films, perhaps that's interesting filmmaker to be in contact with. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming.
It was-
Maybe
it was a
we
pleasure
can
meeting.
produce something
Oh,
together.
for sure.
I have a couple of more shoots coming up, and I have a couple of films in production. I don't know if you saw my previous films, but I'll be glad to look forward. Maybe we can find something interesting.
Great. Awesome. I'm excited.